Fat's just a layer of blubber, right? Not exactly. Reason why I'm doing this video is because it's actually more like a toxic parasite that doesn't want to let you go. Sure, we understand to a certain extent that fat can be bad for you. We understand that, it increases the risk of having diabetes and heart disease, and it puts stress on your joints, that extra weight. But there's a lot more to fat that a lot of people don't understand. Fat has been thought of evolution's wobbly way of storing energy for when we don't have food. But today, I'm teaching you a few things about fat that you might have not known. So we are going to be talking today about two different types of fat, and the first one is called subcutaneous fat, and it's short sub-Q. The type of fat that you could find directly underneath your skin, and common places would be your butt, your thighs, your tummy area. And this fat's not necessarily bad for you. It's found more amongst like the younger people than it is versus the older people. Once we get older, we actually start losing this type of fat. You can find it in your fingers, which is the reason why as you get older your hands actually get bonier, because we lose this type of fat. So this is the type of fat that makes younger people look succulent and ripe, and it essentially is like a padding for your body to help protect you from injuries. So the second type of fat that I'm going to be talking about is actually called visceral fat. And unlike the sub-Q fat, this is stored beyond that like layer of skin. It goes deep in your abdominal cavity, and it wraps around your organs, and it's like this gel-like substance that actually begins to penetrate into your organs. So to help you guys understand, sub-Q fat can develop more like a pear shape, versus visceral fat can make you like more round in the midsection. The scary thing about visceral fat is that not only can it wrap around your organs, but it actually infiltrates into your organs. It infiltrates into your muscle also. That's right, your muscles start looking like a marble piece of meat. So why does it matter if your fat is infiltrating into your muscles? Well, it's actually weakening your muscles. It's weakening your organs. Visceral fat is penetrating vital organs that are extremely necessary for you to stay alive and healthy, like your heart, your intestines, your kidneys, your liver. It's literally penetrating and surrounding them. Scientists in the 1990s found out that fat isn't just like this wobbly thing that accumulates in your body, but it actually can be considered like an endocrine organ. So to understand what that means, I'm going to define what an endocrine organ is. So endocrine organs actually are organs that secrete their products, and they secrete hormones into your bloodstream. So examples of some endocrine organs are like your thyroid, your pituitary gland, your adrenal gland. So just like those glands, fat is producing its products. It's producing its hormones. So visceral fat produces molecules with potentially very dangerous, harmful effects. It makes proteins called cytokines, which actually promote a low level of inflammation. Cytokines are also a risk factor for heart disease and other serious conditions. So visceral fat also increases molecules that can increase insulin resistance, and insulin resistance can lead to diabetes. So going back to the sub-Q fat is also like an endocrine gland, and it also produces its own, products and hormones, but sub-Q fat is known for producing healthier and more beneficial products. So sub-Q fat produces a hormone that's called adiponectin. Adiponectin protects us against diabetes, and it helps us process sugars and fats. Sub-Q fat also produces a hormone that's called leptin, and so that acts on the brain, telling us that we're not hungry anymore. It helps suppress that feeling of hunger. The crazy thing about this is that the more visceral fat you have, you actually become leptin resistant. So you don't have that signal that's going off in your body that's saying, hey, we're good, we ate enough. So your visceral fat is actually hungry. So the more you have the fat, the more it wants, the less it's satisfied, and the more it wants to grow. So let's talk about some of the causes of having visceral fat. So first one, hands off, is poor diet consisting of a lot of sugar, consisting of a lot of processed carbohydrates and processed foods. So lack of healthy levels of physical activity, and also genetics, okay? But genetics isn't everything. And I want to give you this in an analogy so you could understand how genetics plays a role into something like visceral fat. So So I want you to think of genetics as a car. You know, a car can't be moved until somebody gets into the driver's seat, you know, puts the key in the ignition and then takes off. A part of the analogy where the person gets into the car and begins to drive that car, that would be like the lifestyle choices that a person makes to trigger those genes. So let's talk about how to get rid of visceral fat. You guys, we gotta forget the quick fixes, all right? These skinny teas and these supplements to help you lose fat and help you lose weight. All of that stuff, guys, is not gonna help you. And even like just targeting with exercise your midsection is not gonna get rid of the visceral fat. Visceral fat accumulates with habits and lifestyle choices that a person has had for, you know, quite some time. So the way you're gonna get rid of that is that you're gonna have to like change it up and do the exact opposite. You're gonna have to begin to develop lifestyle changes that are sustainable for you. If you really think about it, not even plastic surgery can get rid of visceral fat because it's not that sub-Q fat that's like right underneath the skin, like all binded around your organs and it's penetrating them. So there's no type of surgery that would help you get rid of that. What's gonna really help you is sustainable lifestyle habits that you begin to develop. So we really want to make sure that we're eating right, that we're eating as clean as possible, and we're eating fruits and vegetables and whole grains that look as much as they did as when they first got picked. And we really want to decrease all the processed junk and all the processed carbs, like everyone's favorite, like a lot of bread, a lot of tortilla, a lot of pasta, all these different foods that are really gonna spike up your blood sugar consistently. It's not gonna allow you to release that fat. So we wanna swap out all those unhealthy carbs and we want to swap it with healthier carbs like the whole grains, because whole grains, like the actual whole grain, I'm not talking about whole grain bread, I'm talking about like the actual whole grain, like brown rice and quinoa and foods that really take your body longer to digest so they don't spike your blood sugar, and it allows you to really let go of that fat. Healthy physical activity, and it's okay to start at a place that you're comfortable with, whether that be like a 30-minute walk or, you know, a low impact, easy 30-minute exercise. We want to make sure that our stress management is on point, because when we're stressed out, we actually hold on to fat. So like always, I hope you learned something today that has added to your motivation to continue forward in your health journey. And guys, I just wanted to clarify that this video about fat by all means was not about, you know, striving to have that perfect body. What it really is about is striving to have health, to have the best health and the best body that functions properly the way it's meant to. All about you blooming into the best you that you can be.